What else we want to get into? What's next, Keith?
How about we stay in the camping lane for just a minute?
Okay, let's do that.
Good idea.
So now I like the way Winnebago handles their media. They seem to do a really good job. Of all the RV companies out there, they tend to understand well kind of how things work on social media these days.
Right.
So this is no exception. You know, they made sure to get this out to a lot of places like Motor Trend where we picked it up. But Winnebago just released something that's everybody contributing to this right now thinks is interesting for a couple reasons. It's in their hike line. It's a towable. Now, this is not the first member of that hike lineup.
Right.
They've done others, but this one they're calling the Hike 100. It's a really, really small towable, smaller even than their mini Winnies. Now, the Hike is designed for more of an overland crowd, so you can pull it off the beaten path. Right. And I think the reason that they're going, this is a hard side. So I had a Jayco Baja way back in the day that was also, high ground clearance, had a toy hauler on the front, but it was a fold down or a pop up. So the hard-sided stuff has a little bit more of an advantage if you're going like out in the desert, for example, where it gets cold at night. Right. Or on the Gulf Coast where it gets hot during the day, right? But these hikes are designed to get you onto that BLM land where you get a little bit more space away from everybody else.
Right. Absolutely it is, and it's very well thought out for that purpose alone, which you have the solar panel option. It's got air conditioning, a very low-profile air conditioning unit on it. It comes with you've got an induction stove. It can hold up to 20-pound cylinder of propane.
Yeah.
It just has everything that you would possibly need to get off the grid for a little while, man.
These things being as small as they are, they're really designed for you to spend your time outside. So you sleep in it, you cook in it, you know there's a bathroom in it, right? But it's going to be crowded if you're in there like during the day trying to watch television or podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the interesting thing to me, and I would love to know the research data that Winnebago had that led them to this. But Winnebago seems to think that there's a big enough market for these hikes, and they could be right, that there's enough people, because more and more people are traveling in their RVs. They're not necessarily camping. They're using them as a vehicle, no pun intended, to get all the way to the other side of the country and stay for 3 months.
Right, exactly. And you can do that in this if you're willing to go, with a little less amenities, but really, you're not giving up much other than just space. And if outdoor living is what you want to do, this is perfect. If you just want a hard shell sleeping environment that's comfortable, that's climate controlled, it can do all that for you. Plus, this thing, it has the canopy that comes, the awning that will roll out with lights built into it already.
Well, and again, that kind of gives you more outdoor living space, right?
It gives you a bigger footprint than you would initially have otherwise. Now, let's face it, this thing it's just under 16 feet long. It is just over 10 feet high, and it's about 8 feet wide. But here, the awning length is an additional close to 11 feet. So you're getting a wide enough footprint to really kind of enjoy yourself out of the elements if you need to just sit outside and catch that fresh air. Otherwise, you can be inside. Now, the one thing that I will point out to most people, if you're interested in something like this, and I want to get into why I think that it's interesting and why Winnebago did this, it will only sleep maximum 3 people. It's geared around a 2-person environment, but there are some of the models that have a 3-person capability. You've got full-size bed situation. You've got bunk bed, situations.
It's almost kind of a van life setup, except without the van, right? So, like, let's say you already have a Toyota 4Runner or even a smaller SUV or a crossover. You could pull this out with you.
Or even some of these electric vehicles, like a Rivian.
Yeah.
I mean, a Rivian
yeah.
would be totally capable for this thing. Now, here's my thought on this, okay? There's two things that I think Winnebago has done here. First of all, they realize the market has completely blown up. They're out of trailers, the big full-size ones. You can't hardly get them. You can't even get the furniture to go in the dadgum things.
That's right.
So there's a huge void to fill here. Plus, guess what else you can't hardly buy right now? New vehicles. Bigger vehicles. There's a shortage on vehicles. Inventory. Right, so how do you accommodate that? Well, you build a trailer that's a little bit smaller that could be towed with your existing SUV, where you don't have to go out and buy another vehicle. You just basically give it a towing package, you get the trailer light hookups, you get your hitch, and you're on your way. This thing it's not
so here
not
I've
that
got the
heavy.
weight. Yeah, I've got them right
Go
here.
ahead.
So dry, as we like to call it in the RV industry, dry just means like no water in the holding tank. No propane cylinder filled up.
No food, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Not loaded.
No luggage in it, right?
Right.
They're saying about 2,700 pounds. And
Right.
then it has a max, the gross vehicle weight ratio is 4,200 pounds.
Right.
So it gives you about 1,500 pounds worth of stuff. And for those of you that like math, water is roughly, it's a little more than 8 pounds per gallon. So I don't, just depending on how much water you want to take with you, there you can do the math on that. But
Right, so it'll hold, was it like 25 gallons of the gray water, and then your drinking water, I think nearly 5 gallons, right? So which is pretty good.
They're being very careful here to keep this thing under 4,500 pounds.
Yep, they really
for
are.
obvious reasons, right?
Right, for a lot of reasons, and again, they're trying to market to folks that really don't have that capability for anything larger. It's kind of almost like it's a minimalist van life type situation here. I think it's a win-win. I think they looked at the market. They saw, hey, you know what? People are not going to stop buying this stuff, but they don't have anything to hook it up to. Why don't we build something that they can hook their existing car up to? The cars are already out there, so why don't we just go ahead and I think that's what they targeted here. I think it's a win-win situation for them.
Just under 16 feet long, and we're expecting, as the larger hike is just about 30 grand, that it should come in pretty far under that. So sub 30,000.
So an EV, a Rivian, could carry this thing, no problem. Electric SUV, all electric SUV could carry this thing. So there you go. I mean, don't be afraid to get out there if you're an EV owner.
As I like to say, just don't go where we go, because it's hard to find a spot. So y'all just go the opposite direction and we'll be good.
Right. So hope this was helpful to you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and tell a friend, ring that bell so you get notified for all the up and coming videos. So thanks a lot.